Kirby Smart is an up-and-coming coach in college football, spending time as Nick Saban's right-hand man at Alabama, and then becoming the head coach at his alma mater in Georgia is a coach's dream. Today I'll be talking about Coach Smart's rise to the top of the sport, and how he turned Georgia football from a school that couldn't get over the hump to a team that was competing for a national championship in his second year. So go Dogs, and let's get into it. Kirby Smart is from Montgomery, Alabama, and he was born on December 23rd of 1975. And seeing that he's only 42 years young was very surprising to me because I thought he was a lot older. Now, Coach Smart grew up in Georgia and was the son to a high school football coach. Kirby went on to play football at Georgia from 1995 through 1998 and was playing defensive back for the Bulldogs. He was a 4-year letterman at Georgia and was first-team All-SEC in his senior year. He finished his time at Georgia with 13 interceptions, which actually ranks 4th all-time at Georgia. Kirby Smart graduated from Georgia in 1999 with a degree in finance and went undrafted in the 1999 NFL Draft. He signed a free agent contract with the Colts and spent the 1999 preseason with them before he was cut. After getting cut by the Colts, he went back to Georgia and began his coaching career as an administrative assistant for the football team. He then moved on to Valdosta State in Georgia, where he spent one season as the defensive backs coach before being promoted to defensive coordinator for the 2001 season. From 2002 to 2003, Smart worked as a graduate assistant under Bobby Bowden at Florida State while pursuing a master's degree. He received his master's degree from Florida State in 2003. Smart then spent one season as the defensive backs coach at LSU under coach Nick Saban in 2004, which played a big role in the future with just one season of coaching there. After 1 year at LSU, Kirby Smart rejoined the Georgia Bulldogs football program to serve as running backs coach for the 2005 season. And after that, Nick Saban came calling and Kirby Smart spent a year with the Dolphins when Nick Saban was the coach there. And with the Dolphins, Coach Smart coached the safeties group. When Nick Saban left the Miami Dolphins, so did Kirby Smart, who followed Nick Saban to Alabama in 2007. Kirby spent a year as Nick Saban's assistant to the head coach and was the defensive backs coach, a position that Nick Saban had a specialty in when he began his coaching career. And on February 27th of 2008, Kirby Smart was promoted to defensive coordinator. Kirby Smart was a mini Nick Saban. He coached just like Nick. He specialized in Nick's favorite position and defensive back, and on December 8th of 2009, Kirby Smart was actually awarded the Broyles Award as the nation's best assistant in his second year as defensive coordinator. Kirby actually considered a contract to become the defensive coordinator at his alma mater in the University of Georgia, but chose to stay with the Crimson Tide in early January of 2010. On March 27th of 2012, the University of Alabama System Board of Trustees voted to increase Kirby Smart's salary and extend his contract. And on April 13th of 2013, Kirby Smart was granted a $200,000 salary increase to make him the highest paid defensive coordinator in college football. So now that is out of the way, let's talk about Coach Smart's time at Alabama. The 2009 season was a special one for Coach Smart, as he not only led Alabama to a national championship, but he also took home the Broyles Award as the top assistant coach in the country, like I mentioned. The Bama defense was regarded as one of the nation's top units, leading the SEC and ranking second nationally in scoring defense, pass efficiency, rushing defense, and total defense. Smart's rebuilding job in 2010 was impressive, as the Tide remained one of the nation's elite defensive units while replacing 9 starters. Alabama led the SEC and ranked 3rd nationally in scoring defense and 5th in total defense. And in the 2010 BCS National Championship game against Texas, the Tide recorded 4 interceptions and scored a defensive touchdown. 3 players on Smart's defensive team earned first-team All-American honors. Smart retooled the Alabama defense in 2012, modeling a unit that lost 6 starters to the NFL after the 2011 season. The Tide led the nation in total defense, scoring defense, and rushing defense, while ranking 7th in pass efficiency defense. The Tide defense featured 2 first-team All-Americans in cornerback D. Milner and linebacker C.J. Mosley. Smart crafted another elite Alabama defense in 2013 after losing 6 more players to the NFL Draft. The Crimson Tide ranked 4th nationally in scoring defense while ranking 5th in total defense, 7th in rushing defense, and 11th in pass defense. Alabama was 4th nationally in red zone defense and 4th in fewest first downs allowed. He helped mold C.J. Mosley into the nation's best linebacker and winner of the Butkus Award. His 2014 Alabama defense ranked 4th nationally against the run. The Crimson Tide ranked 6th nationally in scoring defense, while ranking 12th nationally in total defense. The 2015 Alabama defense ranked 1st nationally in rushing defense, 3rd in total defense, and 3rd in scoring defense. Being the defensive coordinator for 4 national championships, Nick Saban regarded Kirby as his right-hand man, and those two seemed inseparable. No other Nick Saban coordinator had beaten the teacher, but Kirby Smart is that one that you feel like is the best to do it. Nick Saban was impressed with Kirby Smart from the first day he met him, but his time at Alabama would only last so long. And that happened when his alma mater came calling and wanted to hire Kirby Smart to become their next head coach. Now let's talk about Georgia football before Coach Smart got there. Mark Richt coached the Dogs from 2001 through 2015. and he had done a good job recruiting. And getting conference titles in 2002 and 2005, Georgia football was a contender in the SEC. They never got to a national title under Coach Richt, and he had been there for so long that Georgia was ready to make a change. Even though his last 2 years they finished 10-3 with bowl wins, Georgia knew that getting rid of Coach Richt, they had to get a good replacement ready. Kirby Smart was ready when he got to Georgia, and he built 3 great recruiting classes so far. The 2016 class on 247sports.com was ranked 6th overall. The 2017 class was ranked 3rd overall, and now the 2018 class is ranked 1st overall, and right now the 2019 class is ranked 1st overall. Kirby Smart has been an unbelievable recruiter. Getting Jacob Eason, a 5-star QB from the state of Washington, to come to Georgia was a huge get, and even though he was replaced by Jake Fromm, a true freshman who took Georgia all the way to the national championship game, Kirby has had a QB at Georgia that Alabama never has had. And he freaking took this kid right under Nick Saban. And now he has Justin Fields, the top-rated dual-threat quarterback in the country, ready to take over when Jake Fromm leaves for the NFL draft. Coach Smart has taken the process of recruiting and expanded it even further to focus on details of building relationships with recruits and their families. Every SEC program has first-rate facilities and stadiums, and it is the relationships that make the difference, said Coach Smart. I think that is what's setting Alabama and Georgia apart on the recruiting field. Kirby is a lot younger than Nick, and he's probably even more motivated than Nick. And he has more energy, which is why he's been out-recruiting Nick. He's a younger version of him, so it is kind of making sense. Now, Georgia under Coach Smart had a weird first year, but an outstanding second year. Jacob Eason was the starting quarterback for Georgia, and as a freshman, it looked like Georgia was a year away from something truly special. The 2016 season, Georgia started out 3-0, but then lost 4 out of 5 games and really struggled. Now, they did finish the year winning 4 out of 5 and winning a bowl game versus TCU, so the next year was really their year. In the preseason AP poll, Georgia was ranked 15th overall. And during July, Jacob Eason beat out Jake Fromm as the starting quarterback. But during the first game of the season, Jacob Eason was injured versus Appalachian State, and Jake Fromm had to come in for replacement as a true freshman. And with Eason not being able to play, Jake Fromm was the starter and they never looked back. Georgia started out the year 9-0, but lost to Auburn 40-7 for his first ever loss. But this didn't hurt their college football playoff chances. Georgia won the SEC East and played Auburn for a spot in the college football playoff. And Georgia won that game 28-7. And they played Oklahoma, winning in an absolute shootout in one of the best games I've ever seen. Going into 2 overtimes, Georgia won that game 54-48. This booked a national title game in the state of Georgia in Atlanta, where Kirby's boss was going to take on the student. Alabama won in overtime 26-23, but Georgia has a bright future. The Bulldogs are dominating the recruiting field, and they don't look to be on the downturn anytime soon. Seeing what Georgia has done based on last year shows how great they can be. Now, there are people who believe that Mark Richt is a big reason why Georgia football is where they are right now. And while I do agree with that, Kirby has done such a great job recruiting and getting to a spot that Mark never got to. So Coach Smart really is the reason they are where they are right now. Kirby Smart has risen in the past year, becoming one of the best coaches in the sport amongst the fans and the media. And I don't see any decline coming soon. Georgia has been great, and I can't wait to see what they do this year. Were they a one-year wonder? Not to me. Kirby Smart is ready, and so are his Bulldogs. They are coming for you.